All right, welcome, folks. We finally have another edition of In Conversation, and today's guest is right here with me right now, Mr. Boone Froggett. Welcome.
Hey, thanks for having me, man. Looking forward to it.
Yeah. So, you're with Otis. Why don't we give everybody a quick rundown on Otis and how long like when you guys started and how long you've been around for? Because there's a lot of history here going back. I noticed here.
It is, man. It hasn't quite been like a straight line. It's kind of like we'll do some stuff, some good stuff will happen, then we'll have to put in some more work. That's just kind of how it is in the rock and roll world. But we got started. Our first album came out in 2015. Tough Times, a tribute to John Brim. John Brim was a blues player from here in Kentucky. Moved to Chicago in his teens and ended up on the Chess label up in Chicago, along with Muddy Waters, Howlin' Wolf, Little Walter, all the greats that we all love. So we kind of wanted to shine a light on Kentucky's blues heritage. So our first album was his lyrics and our music, and it caught the attention of Billy F. Gibbons. And he, from that point, he was out there on the road just burning CDs of our first album. He was handing them off to, Jeff Beck. I know Buddy Guy had one. Jimmy Hall, who actually played on the album, he's like, Billy, I'm on the album. I don't need a copy. which I thought was funny, which is kind of how we found out that he was doing this. Was Jimmy Hall called us up and he's like, man, Gibbons is out here burning copies of this thing, just giving it to people. So that really got us going. He gave us a press quote to use, and people started kind of paying more attention to us after Billy gave us that press quote, and we started touring some more. And fast forward to 2018, our second record came out on Cleopatra Records, and we really started touring a lot then. 2018, 2019, we went to Europe twice, all over the United States. And then the pandemic came along, kind of kicked our butts a little bit, like it did everybody's. Ours especially though. Our original guitar player went to play bass for an active rock band, and our drummer decided he wanted to stay home, do the family thing. So we were bringing two new guys into the band, and all while that was going on, I was diagnosed with thyroid cancer, had to get my thyroid removed and
Oh,
take
wow.
radiation and do all that sort of thing. So once I got that all squared away, we started touring again in 2023. We played 20 shows in 23, and by the end of this year, we'll play 40 shows for the year this year. So things are back going good. We've released two singles. The first one was "There's a Break in the Road," which is a cover of a Betty Harris tune, and she was known as being kind of the soul queen in New Orleans. So you got a lot of folks that played with Dr. John and the Meters played on her records. So that New Orleans stuff really struck us, so we wanted to cover it, put it out there, and then last one, the line, which was our most recent single, it was is an original song, and it's done really well so far, man. Joe Bonamassa put it on two of his playlists, Cutting Edge Blues and Cutting Edge Rock, and we also got featured in Classic Rock Magazine's Tracks of the Week. So far, so good.
All right. So obviously that's probably going to be one of the songs on the album that obviously you're working on right now, I'm guessing.
Correct, man. We're working toward putting a full length release out there. Shopping to some labels and trying to get the back end business done so we can get this thing out there.
All right. Any timetable you're hoping for?
We're hoping to get have a record out by sometime next year.
Okay. All right. And so obviously, hopefully with a new album, then you'll definitely probably be able to get a lot more touring in once the album actually comes out and everything.
Oh yeah, man. That always helps. Even just releasing these singles, it's helped support the touring. Just last weekend we were out supporting Molly Hatchet, which was really fun, and we've got to do some cool stuff this year.
And I heard that you also do a side gig with other bands, huh? Play with Kentucky Headhunters.
I do. I'm their social media manager, and when Otis isn't touring, I'll go out on the road with them and do whatever needs doing. And I have filled in for the guitar player, Greg Martin. before. So I've been in the guitar role in the Headhunters a little bit. And they're a really big part of our story because they come from the same town as we do, and it was really inspirational, to see their tour bus leaving our little grocery store here in town. And we're like, man, we ain't got to go to New York or LA or nowhere to do this. We can do it from right here at home. So that's always been a big inspiration to us, and they've kind of helped us along throughout our career, and it's an honor to to call them friends and be able to work for them.
So the relationship with them goes back a good period of time then, I'm guessing.
Oh yeah, man. It kind of all started with my grandfather sold the drummer Fred Young a tractor. That's kind of what it that's kind of what it got it all going. And then they were family friends from there on. And my grandfather was also a musician. He was a award-winning old-time fiddle player, so they knew each other through music too. So a really cool story, and I love that they've all stayed around here at home throughout their career, and never got above the raisin, as they say.
So if you go back to when you first started to get a liking to music here, when you were younger, what kind of music did you actually listen to growing up that you really, that was your favorite music at the time?
Man, I didn't get exposed to a lot of rock and blues till I was late in my teens. What I grew up listening to was, like I said, my grandfather was an old time fiddler, so I heard a lot of bluegrass music, a lot of folk music, and my dad was he's a really good Bakersfield style honky tonk guitar player. So I heard a lot of Merle Haggard and Graham Parsons and Marty Stewart, that sort of thing growing up. But when I got a little older, I got in his cassette tape collection, and I discovered there was a BB King cassette in there, and there's Fabulous Thunderbirds and some other stuff. But as soon as I heard BB King hit that first note, my life was changed. I was off in another direction at that point, because it's just like it's like hearing something from another planet after hearing you only hear a certain type of music, then all of a sudden here's this whole new world of music coming at you. So it was really a really inspirational thing.
What kind of hobbies did you have growing up?
I'm hunting and fishing. I love to do that. And my dad was a logger, cut timber for a living, so I went to work with him a lot. And then my grandfather worked at the sawmill, so I'd go to work with either one of them and get a backwoods education every day.
So at what point did you start picking up an instrument? What was the first instrument you kind of learned?
My first instrument really was drums. They had me on stage with them and their cover bands at 8 years old because they needed a drummer and nobody else would do it. And I showed interest in music, so they were like, "All right, well, let's put him back here and see how it goes." So from from 8 years old to maybe 12 or 13, I was a drummer. But then, like I said, after I heard BB King and Jimmy Vaughn, I started, picking up my dad's guitar and trying to figure out, how those guys were doing that, and that kind of took me down a different path, and I was kind of obsessed with guitar from then on, and not much has changed.
So tell us who's in Otis right now. Give us a rundown on the guys and how each member came into the band, or like how you met them and
Yeah,
offered them the
yeah.
yeah.
uh, John Mark Seeley, founding member of the band and bassist. We've known each other the longest. We this is kind of our baby. We started this thing because we got tired of playing cover music, and we're like, man, let's get in a project where we play some rock and blues and see where it goes. We had no ideas of fame or international touring or any kind of success like that. We just started it for the pure love of having the freedom to play the music that we wanted to play. So we've been in this thing a while, since we were teenagers, 16 or 17, and we brought Alex Wells on guitar in 2023, and then Dale Myers on drums shortly thereafter. So, man, this lineup of the band is getting a lot of love, and it seems like things are easier, and we're more accepting of this lineup of the band. So I think everybody's where they're supposed to be. So it's a good thing.
And how'd you come about getting the new players in the band? How did you guys all meet? Did you put out an ad or something? Just word of mouth? How did that all come about?
Mostly just word of mouth. People knew that we were kind of putting it back together and looking for players. So people started to say, "Hey, check out Dale." And then Alex, I'd known for a while. He is his uncle is in a very prominent band called Rufus Huff, which is led by Greg Martin of the Kentucky Headhunters. It's one of his side projects. So we kind of got to know Alex's uncle Chris, through that band. And he's like, man, check out my nephew Alex sometime. He's a good player. So it kind of just all worked out.
Yeah, sounds good. Well, can't wait to hear some more music for you. I see this
Oh,
one's
thanks.
the new single's definitely getting some airplay on things. I'm seeing different areas where I'm seeing it, and it sounds really good. Um, I know that on your video it was kind of like a lyric video that you did this time around, something a little different. What made you guys go in that direction?
Man, we did for the first thing we released, we did a like full blown performance video. So we thought, well, instead of doing another one of those, let's do a lyric video, but let's make it really creative. So we got with our buddy over in England, Very Metal Art is his name, his company's name's Andy, and man, he's done lyric videos for Motorhead and Judas Priest and all kinds of folks. And I just kind of told him the concept that I was looking for, because I collect like pulp cover paperbacks and like horror paperbacks. And I'm like, man, I love the art that's on those. I'd love to kind of incorporate them into this song because this is kind of like a classic, like shady character story. And he's like, yeah, man. And that's I only had to tell him that one time. And like the first video he sent was it. I was like, yeah,
Oh
man,
wow.
looks good. And it's that's kind of a rare thing. Usually you have to go back 3 4 times and like, hey man, can you change this? Or can you change
Mm,
that? But it was just what you see on YouTube is the first version of it that he sent us.
nice. All right. Well, anything else you want to share, like where to locate you guys on the social media network and all that good stuff?
Absolutely, man. Just head to theotisband.com. That'll take you to all our socials. You can find us on all the streaming sites. We got some online merch, tickets. Come out and see us. We'd love to rock and roll for you.
All right, very good. Well, it was great talking to you. Best wish you guys the best of success here, and
Thanks.
hopefully you guys will make it out our neck of the woods here in Buffalo one of these days.
Hey, we'd love to, man. We played the Iridium earlier this year, so we were getting close.
Yeah.